everyone. My name is Courtney Grimes, and welcome back to Season with Love, or if you're here for the first time. I have two dishes that I'm making for you today that I'm so excited to share with you. The first one we're going to do is mac and cheese. It's a family favorite. I change it up a lot, but I'm going to show you one version of it today. And then the second thing I'm going to show you is a split pea curry. Okay, and we're using dry peas. Okay, so let's get started. I have water boiling over here in my Dutch oven. I'm going to add some salt here. Okay, because you want your water to be flavorful while your pasta is cooking. Okay, and that'll kind of season your pasta too. A little bit of vegetable oil. Some people don't use oil when they're cooking their pasta, whatever makes you happy. Okay, but you just want to keep an eye on your pasta either way. Add that in. I'm just cooking for my husband and my daughter, so I'm not going to do the whole 2 pounds of macaroni. Just going to want to give it a stir here. We'll check on it every couple of minutes. Should take about 6 to 7 minutes. You don't want to overcook your pasta. You want it to be al dente, and that means to the tooth. Okay, so you want it to be tender, but you don't want it to be mushy. Okay? And then on the other side of the stove here, I have some green peas that are cooking right now. They take about 30 minutes. They're about halfway done. And I have some vegetable chicken broth in here. I know it seems like an oxymoron, right? Vegetable chicken broth, but it's vegetarian seasoning in there. And once those get nice and tender, we'll break that down. Okay, so while the pasta is cooking, I'm going to grate some cheese. So over here, I have some Gruyere, smoked Gruyere, which I highly recommend. It's really delicious. Okay, so I have some grated already, and I have some mild cheddar cheese. You can use sharp, you can use pepper jack. I have feta cheese in the refrigerator, whichever cheese you like. You can do a combination. I have mozzarella, you can do mozzarella. I did Colby Jack for Thanksgiving, I believe, or Christmas. We did a Colby Jack mac and cheese that came out really good. Okay, so once we get our cheese grated, we'll just set that aside. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about a roux. Okay, it's a French word there, but it's basically our thickening agent for our cheese sauce. Some people just melt their cheese in milk or combination of milk and heavy whipping cream, but I like to prepare a roux first to make sure I get a nice cheese sauce. Okay, so that's grated. I'm gonna add that to our bowl here. I already have some Gruyere. Then I'm going to add the cheddar. Okay, set that aside. So probably like in another minute, we're going to stir our pasta. The other thing I like to do with my mac and cheese is I like adding onions. Onions are like the base of every single dish I make, whether it's collard greens, if it's a soup, if I'm making my own spaghetti sauce. When I make breakfast in the morning, I'm using onions pretty much every meal. So again, you want to use a knife that you're comfortable with. Again, keep your fingers kind of like in a claw position. Think of yourself as like a cat. So you're going to want to have a comfortable knife while you're chopping. Okay, you can always use onion powder if you don't like fresh onion, but I'm going to cook mine. I also have margarine here, actually unsalted butter, so I'm going to use that in my mac and cheese as well. Okay, and then I'm going to check on my pasta, clean with the roux. I just like the flavor of onions. Onions make everything better. I'm gonna add a little more butter for my onion that's in there. All right. Like I said, you want to give the flour at least 2 to 3 minutes to cook out. And the higher your fire and the longer that you let your flour cook, the darker your roux is going to be. So a lot of times when people are making what are called like the mother sauces, you're going to cook your roux. Some want like a light roux. They want to do a light sauce. Some people want like a dark brown roux because they're making, you know, like a brown or beef gravy, something like that. So your roux can be a different temperatures and consistency depending on how long you cook it. Okay, so I'm going to give that about another minute. Our peas are looking good. I turned the fire down to low because they're nice and creamy. Okay, but we will season our peas and take care of that after we make our roux. Okay, and then I also have my cheese here. Again, use any cheese you want. I'm using cheddar and Gruyere. I might top it off with feta, we'll see. Okay, I have my pasta just waiting there in the sink for me. Again, don't worry about cooking your pasta till it's mushy. Just want it al dente because you're going to put it in the oven. And it's going to continue to cook there with the cheese sauce, so it doesn't need to be perfectly cooked through because it can finish in the oven. Okay. That's looking good. So now I'm slowly going to add in my milk. Okay, just a little bit up at a time. But while you're adding in the milk, with your other hand, you want to whisk the flour into the milk because you want to incorporate the flour completely. You don't want any lumps in your sauce, okay? So I'd probably add, you know, 1/2 to 1/4 cup at the bottom of the pan just to cover the bottom of your pot, okay? And before I add more milk, I'm going to keep whisking. You get a good workout. Your biceps really start to work out. Okay, so as you're adding in your milk, it's going to start to thicken, okay, because you have the heat on medium. But again, you don't want to walk away because this flour is soaking up my liquid quickly. So you want to keep adding milk a little bit at a time, and you don't want to stop whisking so I can get all of those flour lumps out, okay? Because then we're going to have a fantastic cheese sauce. Okay, and while we're doing that, we're going to turn on our oven and get that going for our mac and cheese. And then I also like to save some milk for the end when my mac and cheese comes out of the oven, because again, any heat source is going to make your liquid evaporate, so you don't want your mac and cheese to be dry. Right, sauce is coming along nicely. So when you take your spoon, grab a tablespoon here, and you look at your spoon, you want it to have completely coated your spoon, okay? That's how you know your sauce is thickening. If it didn't thicken, then either you added too much milk at one time, or you needed to add more roux to your base. So if you already have liquid in here, what I would do is get another small saute pan or a small pot, make roux in another pan, cook it, then add it into your big pot to thicken up your sauce, okay? But once you have a lot of liquid in your pot, it's going to be harder to control, making sure your flour is cooked all the way through and that it's incorporated. Okay? I think we might do one more can of milk. And then once you get your cheese sauce, that's when I like to start adding my spices. So for my cheese sauce, I'm just gonna add some granulated garlic, some black pepper. You can use Creole seasoning, any type of seasoning you want for your mac and cheese. You could add taco seasoning if you want it, because you're gonna add beef or something like that. Whatever flavor you want your mac and cheese to take on. All right. So now I'm gonna start adding my granulated garlic. Okay. You could also cut up minced garlic. You can buy minced garlic at the store if you're not comfortable using a knife. And it's already minced for you, fresh garlic. We'll probably add maybe 2 teaspoons in there of the garlic. And add a little bit of black pepper, probably about a teaspoon. Okay. All right, now the fun part. I'm gonna add our cheese. I want to save some of this cheese to top my mac and cheese, so adding about half of everything I grated, and this is probably maybe 4 cups of cheese, between 3 and 4. Okay, and the Gruyere, like I said, is going to add a really nice smokiness to your cheese. You could add bacon bits to this, whatever you like. Okay, I'm going to give the cheese a minute to kind of soak into my cream sauce here, and then slowly going to whisk it in. Again, you can use Monterey Jack, mozzarella, Swiss, any cheese, combination of cheeses you like. And you might not know what you like, so start with something mild maybe, and then if you end up saying, oh, I could handle a little bit more, then add a different type of cheese in there and kind of test it out, see what you like, what you don't like. All right, so my sauce is looking good here. Nice and stringy. Looks great. Okay, so now I'm going to add my pasta in here so we can incorporate that. And it may look like a lot of sauce, but at some point it's all going to gel together before I put it in the oven. All right. You're going to want to give it a little taste. Make sure you like the flavor before you bake it away. Now I haven't added any salt yet, because remember I salted my water for the pasta. There's salt in the cheese. Okay, so I always like to wait to add that till the end. That's good. Okay. Now I like a little more salt, so I'm going to add a little more salt. Okay. I turned my fire off at this point because my sauce is done and my pasta is well incorporated. Let's do another taste. All right, so the only thing I'm going to add, just because I enjoy it, are pepper flakes. Give it a little kick. You could add buffalo sauce, your favorite hot sauce, okay, just for a little extra flavor. Some people like to add dry mustard for like the color, but if you add dry mustard, just be careful because it's a very strong spice and you don't want to overdo it. A little bit goes a long way. Okay, like I said, you can add bacon bits. Just gonna spray my Pyrex dish here. Okay. Then I'm gonna pour the mac and cheese in so you can see all the goodness. so good, you want to lick the pan. Okay, but I won't. Okay. So now that we've got that in there, I'm going to add the cheese on top. Okay, so I have more Gruyere and mild cheddar here. I usually use sharp cheddar, but I happen to buy mild, so we're going to rock with that. Okay, you don't have to add extra cheese on top. Okay, it's totally up to you. And then I will add, just for color, some Creole seasoning on top. And then we're going to bake this for about 25 to 30 minutes. I normally do 375. You can go up to 400 if you want, or leave it at 375. And if you want a nice crust on top, you can leave it in for a little bit longer or put it on broil and you'll get a nice crust, okay? So we're gonna put that in. Come back to that. Okay, so now we're on to our peas, our split green peas, okay? So I've turned the heat down really low, but they're still nice and moist. We've got a lot of liquid in there. So I'm just gonna turn it down a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm gonna talk to you about the ingredients that we're gonna use for our curry. Just give my cutting board a quick wipe here. Okay, so with the curry or good soup, a good sauce, your base, the base of your sauce is everything, okay? My hands real quick. Okay, so you already know what I'm going to use for the base of my sauce. Onion, right? You got it. And I'm going to use garlic. Okay, so I'm going to move that off the heat for a moment. Okay, so I have another little saucepan here for our sauce. But while that's warming up, I'm gonna cut some more onion. And I just need a little bit. Okay, then we're gonna do some garlic. So here, again, if you want these recipes, you'd like me to put them in the chat, just let me know. Be more than happy to do that. Okay. Just gonna give our mac and cheese a minute, and then we'll take that out and serve that. Just rinse the spoon here. I'm actually proud of myself. It's the first time that I've used split green peas in my house, and I'm really, really excited what the family is going to think. All right, let's see how our mac and cheese is doing. Almost there, needs another minute. Another thing I'll talk about while we're waiting for the mac and cheese is when you're starting a new recipe or something that you've done a million times, you want to make sure you have all your ingredients prepped and ready to go, so that, especially when you're cooking multiple dishes like I was today, you don't want to have things in different cupboards. You want to have everything, one spot. I would recommend if you pre-measure it and use your measuring spoons, and kind of like how I had my spices on the bowl that I was going to use for the split peas, so that way you're not scrambling to open up bottles and different things like that. You kind of want to have everything cut and ready to go. Oh, I didn't add my bacon bits to my split peas, so let's do that. Again, that'll add some smokiness and some crunch. But yeah, you want to make your recipes as easy for you to execute as possible. So having your mise en place, which means putting everything into place, will ensure your success, okay? All right, I think we are ready to go here. My oven mitts. So again, if you're not going to serve your mac and cheese right away, ooh, look at this. Look at that. See, there's that Creole seasoning on top. Okay, again, you can leave it longer in the broiler if you want like a really dark, crispy crust, okay? But if you're not going to serve this right away, like I said, you want to keep some extra milk on hand because it's been in the oven and your lid will start to dry out. When it's nice and crispy and crunchy. Oh my goodness, look at that. Okay, the best part is I get to try this now. Came out really, really good. Got all the string cheese, the cheese on my mouth. That's it right there. I know I told you not to eat this as a main dish, but I might have to take that back. You can taste the smokiness and you can smell the Gruyere. And I can taste the garlic. Really, really good. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you try the recipes. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for joining us here with Season with Love, and I'll see you next time. Take care.